Guys, how you doing? I am Juan A. Thompson. I'm the founder and CEO of Music Performance Sports, and welcome to our website. Thank you for checking us out, seeing what we got going on. My purpose of doing this video is just basically to give you a pretty much a background of myself, a brief background of myself, and also tell you about the journey of music sports and how we got started and where we see ourselves in the future. So again, I am Juan A. Thompson, founder, CEO of Music Performance Sports. I've been in the music industry for 30 years. Have a high passion for independent music. It's very brave to put music out there and see what you get especially when you don't know what you're gonna get back. But definitely have a high passion for independent artists and a respect and love for music and their music as well. So fast forwarding to 2013. In 2013, I was watching American Idol, and while I'm watching American Idol, I had a random thought that came across, and I was thinking to myself, it'd be pretty cool to see rappers and singers competing against each other on the same stage. Because at that time, you only saw singer competitions, right? And at this time, I had been in the music industry for 10 years, about 10 years, about that time. So I thought it'd be a cool thing, right? But it was a passing thought, nothing more. I went to sleep that night, but ended up finding myself in this dream where I was in this arena, massive arena. It was looked like millions of people actually in that arena. And in the middle was a stage that kind of looked sort of like a boxing ring, but it was a rapper going up against a singer, competing with each other on that in that ring. And I was like, this is crazy, right? It was really cool. But I was also mesmerized moreover the energy of the audience, the ambience, the energy, it was just felt amazing, you know what I'm saying, in that venue. And shortly after that, I transitioned into another room. And this room was a really small press conference room. A lot of reporters were there. On my left side was all these different record label executives, and stuff like that. And they were all going back and forth on the phones. And then on the podium there in front of everyone was the two artists that were on that stage competing against each other. Now the reporters were asking them questions, and it was kind of crazy because the question they was asking them was almost like athletes, like they were athletes or like they got out of a game. And then the artists were responding like they were athletes, like they had just got finished playing a game. And I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Now on my left hand side, I'm hearing all this chitter chatter going back and forth because these executives are going back and forth. They're bidding on these two artists on the stage. They're going back, I mean, millions of dollars bidding to sign them. And I was tripped out. I was like, wow, this is pretty dope. So while I'm watching this, I'm still trying to kind of gather what this actually is, right? I was like, what is this? And then it kind of dawned on me that what I was witnessing was a sport, right? Where these artists were the athletes of this sport, and the sport was music. And I was like, that's pretty dope. That's pretty cool, right? So instantly I woke up, right? And I, was pretty excited. What I saw was pretty cool. I had never seen anything like that before. I've been in the music industry for a little over 10 years at that time, and I've been to various competitions, open mics and stuff like that. But I've never seen anything like that before. So I called my mom, talked to her about it, was excited. She had stopped me and said, Juan, I don't think that was a dream. I think that was a vision from God. And I said, I believe that because just how detailed that dream was insane. I mean, like, it was crazy. And after talking to her, I went online and Google. I tried to research if I could, try to see if I could find anything like what I had saw in my dream. And researching, typing in all kinds of word searches. And I couldn't find anything like it. So I felt that was an opportunity to build something revolutionary, something I never heard of, never done before. And I started sitting down and breaking out my pen and paper and just writing down different ideas. This is before ChatGPT and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? This is the internet at that time. Around that time was, internet was still prematurely, kind of still new a little bit almost. 2013, and I was like writing down different ideas and everything like that. And uh, I knew that if I wanted to mimic what I saw in my dream, I would have to learn a couple things I didn't know. Didn't know how to put on an event. I never put on an event before. Uh, I knew I needed a website. I've never put together a website. None of that stuff. So I had to kind of learn how to do that. And I started going to different open mics, different music competitions, talking to the event coordinators and everything like that to learn more about it and everything like that. So I learned all this, even in building a website, all within a 2 year period, learning it all simultaneously, just studying. How would this thing look like as a sport? What would it, what would I use as a framework? And I kind of looked at tennis as one of the sports. I looked at boxing as one of the sports as well. And I kind of took elements of that and put that together and came up with the first concept of music sports. Um, I didn't call it music sports at first. I called it Independent Artist Competition Series, IACS. So I hosted. So I knew I wanted to do. I was ready. I felt like I was ready to do my first game. Right. So I knew I started going out there researching to find out a local venue. So I reached out to a venue and they were like, "Yeah, we want $600 to rent the venue for the day." I'm like, Jesus, right? I'm just a regular guy that makes regular money at that time. I didn't make a lot of money. So I'm saying like, oh my goodness. I didn't have any real support financially or manpower, no real resources, what I'm saying, in terms of that. So I just had to just do what I had to do, what I'm saying, put the money together, ask some friends and family, and they helped me out a little bit. I gathered a couple of dollars from them and just put together the platform, put together the budget for the event. And I hired a DJ and I also hired 3 judges. And we finally got down to the day, April 2015 in April, and hosted my very first game in Virginia Beach, Virginia at the Shaka's Sports Grill Bar. It was so cool because we had eight artists there. One was a band, and they all competed. They were all competed on stage. They performed. They all each came on and performed. They got scored and everything like that by the judges, and we crowned a champion. His name was Basic. He was from Virginia Beach. He won it. He was a rapper. He won. He's like the first winner of our series. And I ran various games through that year, leading up to a championship game that I called the Mike Offs, and that was like my playoff game, and I crowned the overall champion for that. And his name was Old Dubby, from I believe it's from Portsmouth, could be wrong, but just the fact that we did that was just amazing. You know what I'm saying? That yeah, I was able to see this in a dream and make it real. You know what I'm saying? And so at that time, I didn't have a business model quite yet. I was just like really figuring out how the games would look. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause like I said, these were all live in venue games. And I wanted to just get better at putting on the games and making the events look more professional, more organized, things like that. So it took, I was doing that from 2015 to 2020. And I was doing that all across the Hampton Roads area. So 2020 hits and COVID hits, so I had to stop doing games in venues, and I was gaining a little bit of momentum, so I wanted to still do games, but I had to figure out another way to do them, and I resorted to doing how I would do them online, and I thought about that, and that was just to me like I didn't want to see the artists performing on their cameras in their homes. I didn't think that would look professional, right? So I thought about another way of having them compete would be by their songs competing against each other, the songs themselves. The songs would be scored and measured against each other. And so then I came up with the idea of single versus single, and did a beta version of that in 2021. The beta version, we had like about 4 artists. I'm sorry, 8 artists we had competing. And then we did that over a 4-game series. And like I said, it was a beta version. We did it online on our website. Had the game, had this page look pretty nice. You know, their pictures on there, their Spotify on there, et cetera, et cetera. And we did pretty well over those 4 games. We did a little over 10,000 votes. We only marketed and promoted this to a very small demographic, because like I said, this was not a national level thing. It was just beta. We wanted to do this just to test it out, and we got a little over 10,000 voters for that first series, and that was amazing. I was like, wow. So I wanted to do a local version of that here in my area, Hampton Roads, Virginia. So I did that in 2022, and that actually did pretty well as well. Numbers were pretty good. We did where basically the artists competed online first in the regular season games, and then for the championship game, we did that in an actual boxing gym where the artists competed against each other in an actual boxing ring, and we made it an entire show, and it was amazing. It was amazing. I'm telling you, man, it was so cool. I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. You know what I'm saying? This thing was real. We even did a small press conference for the artists that competed in that game, and it was just amazing. It was mesmerizing for me. And so, you know, 2023 and beyond, we've been running games online. You know, like I said, there's an actual business model now. Like I said, it took a while to get to that point, because I wanted to understand how I can make this, not only make revenue from this, not only for our business, but also for the players. We want to get to a point to where we can pay them salaries. We have a amateur level type of series now and a pro level series, and we want to get to the point where we're selling franchises like NFL, NBA. You know, ultimately, we want to get this in the Olympic Games. We believe this can change the game for independent artists, as far as how they get promoted, how they get discovered, how they make money. That's the most important elements, because a lot of artists right now that are independent are not making any money. A lot of artists don't have fan base like that to where they can, you know, put on shows or concerts or anything like that. So they can't really generate income. And then on top of that, streams doesn't really generate a lot of income. It's more of a promotional thing now. You know what I'm saying? So we want to make this a way where they can make money off of, you know, of course, their salaries, getting paid salaries, cash prizes, you know, sponsorships, endorsement deals, etc., similar to traditional athletes. You know, and hey, we're moving. We've been doing it. It hasn't been easy. A lot of these expenses have been coming out of my own pocket, but we have to do what we got to do until we get to the point where we can get investors involved and some major sponsors involved and things like that. Until then, we're just gonna have to do what we got to do. So, so look, this is my journey. You know what I'm saying? And I'm very passionate about this, and I hope that we can get partners to come on board that are serious about this, and they can see the vision of this. And we can open this door, we can open this up and make this a major platform. This can be an NFL, NBA level league. This can also be an Olympic sport. That's how far our goal is taking us. So guys, that's my story. This has been about 15 minutes long, but I appreciate it if you stayed on board and watched the entire video. Again, my name is Juan A. Thompson, founder, CEO of Music Performance Sports. You have a good day and goodbye.